talking about the limb speed, right? So obviously we need to apply force into the ground. We know vertical forces are very important, but one of the things I think it was Peter that wrote it, that the swing time on the front side is almost, trying to think of the right word, it's almost negligible compared to the force that goes on the ground, meaning compared to more of a general athlete, like Olympic athlete. Can you kind of explain that a little bit more? Because that was something that for me just popped out at me. I was like, wow, I always thought when you talk about stride frequency, the front side is so important to getting that leg into a ready position. So I don't know what your thoughts were on that.
It's a great question. I'm happy to speak on that. And yeah, that was one of the big outcomes of the 2000 study. And then some of our more recent research coming out of Westchester has kind of followed up on that a little bit. So, in the 2000 study, what they found, and this still holds up, is that if you look at basically an Olympic sprinter to a team sport athlete to an average Joe, what's referred to as swing time, or the time to reposition a limb from the right foot, toeing off behind a runner to the right foot touching down again in front of the runner, that limb reposition time, that's going to be basically the same between all runners, fast and slow, within a little bit of bandwidth. And frankly, you could use that term, within a little bit of bandwidth, to apply to everything, right? Within a little bit of variation, but that's going to be roughly a third of a second. Now, what's intriguing, and this is kind of where, some of the more recent research has gone, is that what's going on during that swing time is pretty different between faster runners and slower runners. So the time from toe off to touchdown, that swing time is about a third of a second, exactly like the 2000 study demonstrated and found. A couple of interesting things along the research timeline I can point out. So the forces, obviously, in faster runners are greater, the vertical forces. In our 2014 to 2017 studies, while I was down there, with SMU, at SMU, we found that the forces are greater, in particular during the first half of the ground contact phase. So that the second half of ground contact time, kind of counterintuitively, the forces are the same. Again, you look at Olympic sprinter, team sport athlete, it's basically going to be no difference between a guy that's running 11 meters a second and a guy that's running 9 meters a second, where all of the difference is in the force application is in the first half of ground contact, and really like in the first third, within the first 30 milliseconds, 0.03 to 0.04 seconds. That's all the difference. It's faster than you can blink the eye. And then kind of where we continued on with that research, tied the force that was being applied to the motion of the limbs. So essentially, although the timing's the same, we all know that better sprinters are more upright, that they're more front side, to use, kind of a Ralph Mann term, that less of the thigh motion is happening behind the body and more is happening in front of the body. So it's putting them in what I like to phrase as good position to strike. I mean, basically they're recovering the limb in front of the body, and now they're in good position to attack the ground. Then they're really winding up and striking the ground with an aggressive ground contact and a stiff ground contact upon initial touchdown, and that's resulting in big forces. And then what our most recent study from Westchester that was just published really about 6 months ago at this point, showed that those limb rotational velocities are also different between runners of different calibers. So the kind of the total time to swing the limbs is the same, but where that limb motion is taking place behind or in front of the body is different, and really how fast they are attacking the ground from that high knee lift position to ground contact is faster and faster runners than it is in slower runners. And so that's what's kind of setting up for the force applications.